Victoria is renowned for its vibrant arts culture. Bendigo, Maldon here in Castlemaine are all bursting with creativity. You'll find art and craft in galleries, cafés, markets and even adorning the locals themselves. The Artist Market in Castlemaine is held on the first Sunday of every month next to the Theatre Royal, Australia's oldest continually operating theatre. Over 30 years ago, a city slicker with a passion for the arts visited this picturesque town, saw what it had to offer and was adamant it should be celebrated with a festival.
The Castlemaine State Festival began in 1976 following a visit by Berwick Segan, who was a Melbourne businessman who just loved the town, loved the buildings, loved the landscape and said this is the place that we should be having Victoria's Arts Festival.
And he was right. 30 years on and the biennial festival is loved by locals and visitors alike for the very diverse and entertaining range of performing and visual arts.
Well, I think the festival itself was an enormous catalyst for the arts in this region, and we now have people who are specialists in so many fields. We have wonderful instrument makers, we have musicians. We have metal workers, ceramicists, textile artists, it just goes on, and many of them are world class.
The foundations of the region's vibrant arts culture were laid much earlier than when the Castlemaine State Festival was founded in the 1970s. The migrants who moved here during and after the gold rush in the 1800s were a gifted generation. They were innovative, they were creative, and their creativity can still be seen today at Castlemaine's Buddha Historic Home and Garden, where silversmith Ernest Levine and his family lived, Castlemaine Art Gallery and Historic Museum, and Bendigo Pottery, Australia's oldest working pottery, over 150 years old.
I started collecting Bendigo pottery way back in the 1950s. I worked at the Bendigo pottery, and working at the pottery I met a lot of the old potters, and from that moment I've realised there was a wonderful history of Bendigo pottery. You can see Bendigo pottery pieces at the Bendigo Art Gallery, and in particular at the Bendigo Pottery Museum, the Interpretive Centre. It's a great collection, worth a visit.
This arts heritage is still thriving today, evident through a visit to View Street, home of the impressive Bendigo Art Gallery, the Capitol Theatre, a myriad of wonderful shops and galleries to explore, all featuring the work, of course, of local artists. The Capitol Theatre and Old Fire Station next door provide an exciting program of performing arts.
The Capitol's a very busy little theatre. We only have 480 seats, but we have something like 70,000 people come through the building every year. We have about 300 events throughout the year in the main theatre, as well as lots of other theatrical events happening in spaces like the Old Fire Station and the Bendigo Bank Theatre.
Take a short trip from Bendigo or Castlemaine and you'll arrive in Maldon, and you'll soon see why the National Trust of Australia awarded the main drag the most intact heritage streetscape of Australia. Now, Maldon may seem familiar as it provided the authentic backdrop for Romulus My Father, starring Eric Bana. Just walking around Maldon's like stepping back in time with a fantastic mix of the historic and the contemporary. Maldon and many of the beautiful heritage towns of the goldfields provide an inspiring environment for our artisans. The Penny School Gallery and Cafe is a significant building classified by the National Trust and now hosts exhibitions featuring the region's contemporary artists. This region boasts many unique galleries like the Penny School, and at last count is home to over 400 artists, which begs the question, what brought them all here?
There's the freedom and the time and the space to live a rich creative life.
It's a low stress kind of working environment, and it's still fairly close to Melbourne.
I just think it's a very, very vibrant and friendly and welcoming community.
I think people come here for the light, for the colour, for the landscape, for the sense of history that it has here, whether that be because it reminds us of Europe or because of the gold rush itself.
This region is special because of the quality of life we have here, the quality of the air we breathe, the sort of people that live around here. To me, they're like the gatherers that are in my paintings. They are people who nurture the earth. They are connected to the planet, connected to the earth. And the connection also to history, to the history of the goldfields. I think that's an important thing. You feel connected to that as well. And I love the landscape that we live in. That is what I love.
In Castlemaine, Bendigo and Maldon, you don't have to seek out the arts, it seeks you. The simple act of enjoying a meal or having a coffee in one of the many funky cafes will find you surrounded by the works of talented local artists. If you weren't an arts enthusiast when you arrived, you will be when you leave. We look forward to seeing you in the goldfields.